today, the exchange of 2,000 rupee notes has begun across different parts of the country, and we're joined by my colleagues Shrija from Bangalore, Sam Daniel from Chennai and Vedant from Delhi. They're actually going to break down how this process is happening across banks. Shrija, to you first. Where are you and what's happening?
Well, we are at the SBI Bank over here. This is near Trinity Circle and in Bengaluru. So joining us is Mr. Chandan Kumar, the bank manager. We've been visiting quite a few banks, both the headquarters, the bigger ones, and also the branch offices as well. But not really much of queues that we have witnessed. Like how Mr. Chandan did, of course, point out, saying that 20,000 rupees is something that can be exchanged. And I see a few people inside your bank.
Very few people, and I think slowly it will start. Okay. So as of now, only 2 customers come today morning.
Only 2 customers.
And I think there is a very less circulation, so I don't think it will go like that. Last time we have gone through demonetization. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay, so we understand it is 20,000 rupees as an exchange at the bank, and nearly 2 lakh deposit. Right? Have you seen anybody depositing? How many customers you might have come across?
No, ma'am. Today hardly 1 customer has come for exchange.
Only for the exchange.
Yes.
Okay, do you think that this may go up a little higher? Because I, of course, visited the headquarters here. Do you think you will see more people coming out?
Maybe in future we can't tell, but circulation is very less. As per RBI report also, circulation is very less. Okay. So I don't think so it will happen like that.
Okay. And also, since there is a limit as far as 20,000 exchange is concerned, what are the documents that you are asking customers to furnish?
There is no need of any document or form. Nothing.
No documentation?
Nothing.
Okay.
They can come over the counter and they can exchange, and they can come many times. Not like that one time they can exchange, again they can come.
Shrija, so if you could just ask the manager there, because there's been a lot of confusion over IDs and documentation for exchange, with certain banks, asking for these IDs, certain banks not asking for these IDs. So what have the banks been told? What's the communication that they have received?
No, I want to ask you this. Have you received any communication from the RBI? Because, different banks are operating differently in terms of asking customers to furnish documents. Now, you just told me that you are not asking. No. Is it from bank to bank? Does it differ? Because I believe the order is same, across all the banks from the RBI. Why does it differ?
Our LHO or our head office has given the circular instruction. There is no such document required or KYC required.
Okay.
So we have to take the cash 20,000 and exchange it, 2,000 rupees notes.
Would you be able to say that what does the RBI, RBI has instructed the bank?
RBI also instructed more or less same only.
What have they instructed?
They have not asked for any particular document or form as per their circular also.
Okay.
So same thing bank has given us instruction. So no need of any document or
there does appear very interesting, Shrija, what the bank manager is actually telling you, because there does appear to be some confusion. And I want to go across to Vedant joining us from Delhi, because Vedant, what you've been reporting is a little different. There has been some confusion with, banks not accepting exchange, for instance, only accepting deposits. So you're not actually being able to get a lower denomination of currency that easily. And there seems to be some difference in the way banks are approaching this whole thing about IDs. Certain banks asking for IDs, certain banks not asking for IDs.
Rishika, I'll break it down entirely for you. We've also spoken to PROs of various banks. But first, let me go across to these customers waiting very patiently. I've come out of the HDFC Bank here in the national capital. Let me ask them if they had to show their documents or not. आपने exchange कराया, deposit कराया?
जी, मैंने deposit कराया जी.
जी, और आपको कोई आईडी प्रूफ वगैरह या डॉक्यूमेंट कुछ मांगा क्या?
नहीं, आईडी प्रूफ एक्सचेंज में मांग रहे हैं, डिपॉजिट में किसी तरीके का कोई आईडी प्रूफ नहीं मांग रहे. बस आप स्लिप भरिए और डिपॉजिट हो जाएगा.
और ये आप यहाँ का अकाउंट है आपका यहाँ पर?
हाँ जी, मेरा यहाँ पिछले 10 साल से अकाउंट है.
तो इसीलिए आपसे स्लिप भरवाई और डिपॉजिट. और एक्सचेंज में भी वो मांग रहे हैं?
एक्सचेंज में जिनका अकाउंट है उनसे सिर्फ कस्टमर आईडी मांग रहे हैं, तो उससे अपना चेंज हो जाएगा. बाकी जिसका अकाउंट नहीं है तो उससे आईडी प्रूफ देना पड़ेगा और एक्सचेंज हो जाएगा.
Alright, so let me go across to somebody who's actually exchanged the notes. आप सबसे पहले मुझे दिखा दीजिए, क्योंकि आप काफ़ी सारे 500 के notes. So here you have it, Rishika. So he's just gotten his 2,000 notes exchange. कितने notes exchange कराए आपने?
तो 10 करवाया था.
10 notes exchange कराए. आप यहाँ पे आपका अकाउंट है?
नहीं.
तो आपसे आईडी प्रूफ मांगा गया?
आईडी प्रूफ आधार कार्ड मैंने दिया, आधार कार्ड साइन किया. उसके बाद हमें आराम से दे दिया. 20,000 रुपये मुझे उसने दे दिया. तो आपने एक्सचेंज कराया एंड आपने आईडी प्रूफ और फॉर्म दोनों भरा है.
ओके आप अब यहाँ पर एक्सचेंज कराने जा रहे हैं कि डिपॉजिट
कराने जा रहे हैं हम तो।
अच्छा, एक ये क्वेश्चन ये भी है कि ज़्यादातर लोग डिपॉजिट कराने को ज़्यादा प्रेफर करें दैन टू एक्सचेंज इट, तो ऐसा क्यों है? आप एक्सचेंज क्यों नहीं करा रहे, डिपॉजिट क्यों करा रहे?
एक्सचेंज में क्या है कि थोड़ा सा लाइन में लगने का थोड़ा वो इशू होता है, तो डिपॉजिट में इतनी लाइन नहीं होती, तो इसलिए हम अपने अकाउंट में डिपॉजिट ही करा रहे हैं थोड़ा सा। और दूसरा आईडी वगैरह से हम मतलब अभी एक हम अब आईडी है नहीं इस टाइम, तो इसलिए हम डिपॉजिट ही थोड़ा प्रेफर करेंगे सर।
All right, Rishika, so you had all variants of customers in a sense here, but let me very quickly, if you give me 30 seconds, I'll break it down for you. So the RBI has not given any blanket guidelines saying that banks are not allowed to take ID proofs or documents. RBI has in a sense said that banks will of course have to uphold their own guidelines and their own principles based on which they operate. So of course some banks asking for ID proofs and asking non-account holders to fill forms, but there are only very few cases in which banks are outrightly rejecting customers to exchange notes. But of course that remains to be seen, because as the month progresses, one waits to see whether there is some smoothness as far as this process is concerned. It's just day one today.
So are there different rules then for private banks versus public sector banks? I think that's also an important question to be asked, because you're of course outside HDFC, which is a private bank. Sam, what are you seeing in Chennai?
Rishika, we come to you from outside the State Bank of India's Area branch, and here very few people have trickled in since this morning. This is the third branch we are visiting in Chennai, and in all these branches very few people coming to exchange, and all these banks say that they are not insisting on any filling up of forms or to produce any documents like Aadhaar or PAN. They have the option to either deposit or to take them as cash. And I spoke to an elderly gentleman here. He had brought 65 notes of 2000 rupee currency, and he was able to, since there were not many people at the counter, back to back he was able to get all the 65 notes exchanged actually in one go. And he is someone who believes that this could in some way check black money. But there are others who argue that no matter what happens, ultimately this system has many loopholes, and somehow even the unaccounted cash could actually get exchanged, and this may not really achieve that kind of fulfill that kind of a vision. But certainly this is not a repeat of the 2016 demonetization situation we saw. Not much of queue, but banks say they are getting prepared to put up shamianas this summer if over the weekend they see many number of people coming to branches and lining up to get the money exchanged. But they say over the last few years, particularly after the pandemic, people have got used to digital payments largely, since ATMs were not giving or delivering 2000 rupee notes for a long time. The use of this particular currency for a daily usage has come down drastically, and only those for various reasons, it could be for saving, sentimental or unaccounted cash, only those people ought to bring it now. Politically, M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister, has called this mystery and a clever ploy by the BJP, as he calls it, to divert attention from the electoral debacle in Karnataka. Rishika.